the title of my paper is SC Connect Secure Server Access from Mobile Devices. So now if you have access servers, you might know that the technologies to access and configure your servers are mainly SSH based or terminal based, and those are from your desktop and laptop computers. But what if you want to access your server from your mobile devices? Let's say your mobile phone, because yeah, it's the outline because let's say you want to perform some minimal task of some monitoring, and for that you need to set up a full-fledged SSH connection. So that is it viable from a mobile device? So regarding that, I am proposing an alternative for to SSH or to existing access technologies which is specific to mobile devices. So an application for mobile devices, so you can use it to access it. So the introduction is that because the cloud service providers power the internet and the information architecture of today. So access needs to be there. And the problem statement is basically the inspiration of the problem was that when I was interning at a company, we faced the problem. All of us backend developers were basically it was night. We were in bed and our service went down. And the PM was like, someone check it out. Everyone is in bed and no one wants to open their laptop and set up a full-fledged SSH connection. So we thought, let's do it from a phone. But to do it from a phone using any third-party application, if that application has a backdoor, if that application has a spyware, then the SSH connection from that mobile application is sabotaged. And setting up from laptop isn't feasible at such time. So what can be done so that there is a trust mechanism and there is access viability? So for that, this architecture or this application is proposed. So yeah, the accessing utility might not be secure. Any random application you install on your phone from Play Store might not be secure. Then network security. When you're doing from mobile networks, you might be in some cafeteria, you might be connected to the Wi-Fi. It is public network. It is unsecured. There is a security risk. Then another is roaming, because when mobile devices are concerned, people are traveling. So if network switch happens, typically SSH connection needs to be reconnected, and the way SSH packet travels, it's just inconvenient to use SSH. So another these factor is considered. So I looked up some existing solutions. What can be done? So this is mainly an analysis of SSH, like how vulnerable SSH is. So in this study, they set up a honeypot system and they left it open for attackers to try to attack. So over a timeline of 55 days, over 16,000 connection attempts were made with from 683 unique IP addresses. And what attackers do is they try out the default credentials, username and password default credentials, and then they will download external scripts using curl command or wget command, and then the scripts will start sabotaging the system. So that is the attacker mindset. And then there is SSH key management. Let's say for my mobile device access and SSH is set up, but handling the SSH keys is another set of problem because I was interning at a company and I was a backend developer. My code which I pushed into the GitHub repo went directly to the server. It was deployed, but I wasn't able to see the logs because they gave me the justification that you cannot see the logs because we would need to set up a special privileged SSH account for you, and doing that for us isn't just feasible. So you call the server guy and he'll give you the logs. So every time something occurs on the server, I have to wait for the person to click a screenshot of the logs and send it to me. So other than that, if I can get the logs on my phone, I just have the privilege to get the logs. Only one command can be executed, that is getting the logs. So if there is something like that, then it would be better for me. And then there is this is MOST and interactive remote shell. It is basically an improvement of SSH, but in the end, SSH does exist. And conclusion I derived from discussing with server admins and cloud architects is that SSH from mobile device is not at all feasible because they basically don't trust the thing. And there is okay, this is another just mobile SSH. This is another mobile protocol. It will basically handle roaming. If you're roaming, if your network switch happens, there is a script running. It will establish the SSH connection automatically. But baseline is SSH again, something other than SSH. So that's where the proposed system comes into picture. So the proposed system is divided into two sets. There is the server side system and there is the client side system. Server runs on the server, client application will install on our phone, Android and iOS. So the server side system is such that there is I send a request from a mobile to the server. The request will get authenticated. Then the commands would be defined on the server. Suppose I am a server admin. I'll make a file, a JSON file. I'll write command title ID, the command title. It is say PM to logs. and then command I'll write the command that sudo pm2 logs, and this command is defined on the server. And so when the request comes, so I'll tell the server that I want pm2 logs, so execute this command and send me the response. So the command, it will pass the command from the file, it will execute the command on the server, and whatever output is generated, typically we see on the terminal screen, it will package it as an HTTP response of a REST API, and it will send to my mobile phone. So authentication, command passing, and execution. And on the client side, it is the same. Okay, so when I open my application, I'll hit the server. I'll tell that, okay, the server admin has defined some commands. You give me the list of commands so that I can know what all commands I can execute. So it will give me. So let's say it gives me 3 commands. So the 3 commands would be displayed in the application. I click on one command. It will send the command ID. Every command has an ID. It will send the command ID to the server. The server will check here while passing. It will check the command ID. It will execute the command. I'll get the output here and I'll display the output. So in the worst case scenario, even if my phone is hijacked, a malicious user has my phone, but he cannot do much damage because the commands are defined on the server. So at max, whatever the server admin has privileged for me, the attacker can do that. If it is reboots and logs, so that attacker can only get to my logs. But compared to SSH, if the attacker gets SSH, then the whole system might go down, the whole server might crash. But given this application, it might not happen. Then considering the security, the whole communication will be encrypted using RSA. So RSA has, it is a public cryptography. So 2 sets of keys are maintained. So the server has its key. So using its public key, it will using the client's public key, the server will encrypt any data being sent to the client. And similarly, if you understand how RSA works, basically the client will encrypt the data for server using the server's public key. So only the server and the client can decrypt the data. Even if the attacker, if man in the middle attack is performed, the body is sabotaged. The attacker has the body, but getting the keys is difficult because the keys would be transferred using QR codes, and I am not handling the key response. You can use any password manager; they transfer the TOTP keys. So similarly, you can put your RSA keys in that. It will generate a QR code, share that, scan the QR from your mobile application, and you have the key. And as it is a REST API, then SSL can be encrypted. So there are 2 layers of security. There is SSL and then there is RSA. So even if in worst case man in the middle happens, the body is sabotaged, the security is well handled. And then these are some additional features that can be put, like the API body which the application generates, the REST API request, the JSON data, the whole body can be signed using some signing algorithm. Then a VPN connection can be established between the mobile and the server, so that the network traffic is encrypted again. And to enter the application, the time-based one-time password (TOTP), basically two-factor authentication, can be implemented, so that even if my phone is compromised, the attacker won't be able to get into the application. So that's the idea. And yeah, so yeah, any questions there are?
Any objective, I mean, once we come up with the research, I talked about this with one of the research scholars and Mandarin code and thing. So we need to, come up with some benchmarks, I guess, we evaluate our research, what are the parameters, right? Second one is a typical scenario of, let's say, UG project or something. Okay, I mean, what are the benchmarks you actually selected for this? I would not see, I mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
results any.
benchmarks.
Uh, or if you have anyone on the screen, you can actually talk about and for other ways around, it's always better to
Yeah,
have some
benchmarking
benchmarks so that you can actually,
if the
compare and
system is
contrast.
currently in development, because what happened is
That's
we
true. Even if the system is currently in development, what can happen? You will still come up with that. Doesn't mean that it does not have any results, right? So, I mean, this is a platform wherein you can show, okay, it's not always, I mean, that you come up with very good results. You can have some bad results, and this form you can get some insights so that you can actually move. You get a feedback and move sort of auto direction.
yeah, yeah, that's a valid point. So basically, the system is in development, and the aspect is like, if I develop the system, who will trust my code on their server? Because I can write malicious code, the code will be running on the server, so how it can be trusted? So what I'm trying to do is establish a public consensus mechanism. Basically, if the application is open source and I have some individual authors or developers who can audit the code, who can guarantee that okay, we will check every commit and we will give a security rating that this commit made won't be basically the code is secure. You could be guaranteeing the security. The same thing for the server, same thing for the